Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Happy opening day. It's one of the best days of the year. Baseball is finally starting today. In this video, we just are going to look at basically what the title says, some big bats and some stacks that I like. Just some basic rules. They're not going to be the same hitters that I had in the core plays video. That is just going to be redundant if I did that. These are hitters that I really, really like. I love their matchups. I love their upside. And I just want to spend some time kind of breaking them down in depth. Whereas on the core plays video, I kind of touched on a lot of guys that I did like, but this one is a little bit more narrow. So if you guys enjoy this video, if you guys enjoy this type of series, let me know. Leave a like so I know to keep doing these going forward. Leave a comment if you want to. But basically, there's just not going to be the same hitters I mentioned in the core plays. And these hitters are used, you can play them on both DraftKings and FanDuel, although the pricing, some guys are just priced a little bit more nicely on FanDuel. Some guys are just priced a little bit better on DraftKings. So you just have to kind of make your judgment. But first hitter is going to be Cody Bellinger. Now, with the Red Sox game being postponed, that has opened up a lot more options here. I had a few Red Sox in this big bat section with Hunter Renfroe was in here, Kike Hernandez was in here. Had to change some things around. But Cody Bellinger sticks out a lot today, especially with people not going to be able to pay up for JD Martinez in the outfield. You could definitely go up to a guy like Cody Bellinger. He's a guy that mashes right-handed pitching. Marquez in Coors has struggled the last few years. Last year he had a 3.68 ERA in Coors. Dodgers have one of the most potent offenses in baseball, if not the most potent. You could make an argument for, the Yankees are up there, but Dodgers, at least in the National League, they have the best lineup. Looking at his numbers against righties, he has a career 291 ISO against right-handed pitchers. Only struck out 14% of the time last year, and Marquez, his pitch types mainly throws a fastball or a curve to lefties, and Bellinger matches fastballs, 289 ISO, and whatever curves he gets, he has a 367 ISO against curveballs. Good chance to do some damage in core. So he is the first guy that I wanted to mention. The second guy is Carlos Santana, the Kansas City Royals. Now their stack has taken a bit of a bump here with the Red Sox no longer being on the slate. They went from, I think they're my second stack of the slate, or maybe my third, but they jumped up one spot. And you get a guy like Carlos Santana coming out off of a very down year last season. He's going to a new team, a new change of scenery for him. He does have some power. Like 2019, he hit 34 bombs, I believe, and he's facing off against Kyle Gibson, who is garbage against left-handed hitters. Gibson had a 5.22 xFIP and only a 14% strikeout rate to lefties last year. He struck out righties north of 20%. So you're getting a guy like Carlos Santana, who against right-handed pitching has a career 208 ISO. He's a switch hitter, so he bats both sides of the plate. He has a little bit more power over his career against righties. And Gibson throws his fastball about 20% of the time, but his three other pitches, he throws a sinker over 20% of the time. He throws his changeup about 29% and throws a slider a little bit under 20%. You add those three up, you get about a 70% pitch type sample. And looking at Carlos Santana's numbers, he absolutely mashes those pitches. He has a 357 ISO against sinkers, a 279 against changeups, and over a 200 ISO against sliders. So I do like Carlos Santana. I expected to bat right in the heart of the lineup for the Royals. Probably clean up for them, maybe third, but really good spot. Good stack option today, and he is super cheap on DraftKings, and he's also very cheap on FanDuel. The third guy is another Royal, and this guy will get a lot lower ownership. Nobody wants to pay over 5K for a catcher very often, and Salvador Perez is one of the catchers that I would make an argument to pay up for today. He has really good numbers against righties. Last year, he had a 357 batting average with 8 home runs against righties last year. 8 of his 11 home runs came against righties. He had a 287 ISO against them. And even though Gibson is a lot better against righties, he still gave up almost a 285 average, a 283 batting average to righties, and over a 400 slugging, a 434 slugging. And basically, what it comes down to with Salvador Perez is there's not a ton of catchers to pay up for. He is the best catcher to pay up for on the slate. He probably won't get that much ownership, and he's a guy that could go out there, hit a bomb or two. He's one of the few catchers that bats right in the heart of the lineup. You have him, you have Rio Muto, and then you have a couple other guys. But catching, people usually go cheap for catchers. If you want it to be different, definitely can spend up for a guy like Salvador Perez. And the final guy I wanted to mention is Joc Pederson. New scenery for him. Now he's with Chicago. He was mainly exclusively used as a right-handed power bat for the Dodgers. He never played much against lefties. and that is for good reason. He has a career 263 ISO against right-handed pitchers, 42% hard hit rate. Chad Kuhl dealing with some injuries over the past few years. He has still been getting kind of lit up against lefties whenever he has pitched. Gave up a 492 slugging against lefties for his career, almost a 5 xFIP, 4.99. And you're getting a guy like Joc Pederson who has tremendous power. It is a great ballpark to hit in. Maybe not so much today with the wind blowing in, but it's still a lot better than the stadiums he has hit in last year. In Dodger Stadium, Wrigley is one of the better hitter-friendly ballparks, and Joc Pederson, tons of power for him. He's cheap on DraftKings, $3,400 for an outfield spot for him, $2,700 on FanDuel. He's a guy that you can make an argument to get to. And the stack options, we have 3 stacks that I'm looking at. I spent a lot of the core plays video talking about the Padres, had Tatis Machado in there, and I was rounded out with Fam Myers. Get 4 right-handed power bats against Madison Bumgarner, a guy that can't get righties out at a very effective rate. The second stack is now the Dodgers. I had the Boston Red Sox up there, but now it has to be the Dodgers. With Mookie Betts, Corey Seager, Bellinger, Muncy, I wanted to focus on the lefties, and then you got to throw Betts in there if you're stacking the Dodgers. I mean, you don't want to leave out Betts in terms of a Dodger stack. He has to be in there with 3 other lefties. And then on the Royals, there is no Mondesi on the IL now, so that makes their stack look a little bit less appealing, but I still like Whit Merrifield at the top. I love Jorge Soler. He's super cheap on DraftKings, only $2,800. Carlos Santana, another cheap guy. You can go with 2 cheap guys and 2 expensive guys on the Royals. Merrifield and Perez are expensive. Soler, Santana are cheap. All 4 of those guys have a ton of upside. And especially Soler has a ton of power. Perez has a ton of power. And Santana's power comes and goes. Hopefully, he can have a great season for the Royals this year. And Merrifield still has power, but he's mainly known for stolen bases and getting on base. And, getting 2 stolen bases is good enough for me in terms of hitting value. So that is just about it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I did like making it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Best of luck today, and I'll catch you all later.